Core compression, seated single leg knee extensions. Training the deep hip flexor muscles is challenging, especially if your hip flexors are weak. This is where the seated single leg extensions can be highly effective. This exercise targets the deep hip flexors while also requiring a degree of hamstring flexibility. So if your hamstrings are particularly tight, I recommend working on your hamstring flexibility before attempting this movement. The seated single leg extension begins with you sitting on the floor with both legs extended straight in front of you. Place your hands on the floor slightly behind your hips and lift your chest up to maintain an upright posture as much as possible. From here, bend one knee and bring your thigh towards your torso, lifting the foot off the floor. This is the starting position for each repetition. As you bend the knee, focus on engaging your deep hip flexor muscles to close the angle between your thigh and torso as much as possible. The smaller the angle, the more you activate the deep hip flexors. Once you're in the starting position, contract the quadriceps of the working leg to straighten it as much as possible. Throughout the movement, maintain the engagement of the deep hip flexors and strive to keep the angle between your thigh and torso as small as possible. Easier said than done. It's normal to lean your torso back, but try to keep this limited. If you need to slightly elevate your shoulders to hold the position, that's fine, but try to avoid excessive leaning. Hold the leg in the extended position for the prescribed time, which typically ranges from 3 to 30 seconds. As you hold the position, it can be helpful to visualize pulling the upper leg bone into the back of the hip capsule. This cue encourages a strong contraction in the deep hip flexors, allowing you to maintain a more stable and controlled position. After the hold, bend the knee and return to the starting position. Each time you return to this position, focus on closing the angle between your thigh and torso as much as possible before starting the next repetition. This emphasis on the start position ensures the deep hip flexors remain engaged throughout the entire movement. Complete all repetitions on one side before switching to the other. Your ability to lift the leg and maintain a small angle depends on the strength of your hip flexors and the flexibility of your posterior chain. For those with tight hamstrings, it may help to pair this exercise with a hamstring stretch, as increased flexibility in the posterior chain will make it easier to achieve and hold this optimal position. A good starting point for most people is to perform 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps on each side with a 3-second hold at the top of each rep. As your core compression strength improves, you can progress this exercise by reducing the number of repetitions and increasing the hold times at the top of each lift. Give it a try and see how it feels. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.